All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Making Sense. You will notice today that we are coming to you from a different location. We are on the deck/patio of Ernie's on Gull. And with me today, I have Scott Bender, who works for National Bank of Commerce. He's our SVP, Senior Commercial Banker. Next to Scott, we have Chris Foy. And then next to Chris, we have Mike Foy. And then again, I am Hannah Willis, and I'm the Marketing Director for NBC. So Chris and Mike own Ernie's on Gull, Main Street Ale House, and Dough Bros, all in the Brainerd Lakes area. So let's start with Chris. Chris, can you kind of give us an overview of the three establishments and kind of how you guys kind of came to be?
Certainly, yeah. So our story with these establishments started 12 years ago at Ernie's. Ernie's story started well before that. There's been something on this property, hospitality-wise, for at least 100 years. So we're just a small kind of end of that story. But 12 years ago we purchased this with the help of Scott. Helped us through that process. We were pretty young, didn't really know exactly what the process was going to be. So obviously Scott helped us with that. So 12 years ago we purchased Ernie's. 5 years ago we started Main Street, and about 2.5 years ago we started Dough Bros.
Okay. Mike, how did you meet Scott?
Oh boy!
How far back do you want to go?
Really, I've known Scott for years. I mean, back in high school, we knew each other, and as we all do, as you go to college and start your lives, we kind of didn't talk as much then because we just had different lives. And once the Ernie's process kicked up again, we reconnected, and like Chris said, he helped us through the process, lockstep the whole time. So, yeah.
So that's kind of what led you to Scott, was like you were in this process of buying these businesses,
right.
and
we wanted someone that we knew and trusted. And Scott, obviously we knew, and we obviously trusted to guide us through the processes. And without his help, we would be, kind of just lucking into things and not knowing what we're doing exactly. But Scott definitely, lack of a better term, held our hand through the processes and really made us feel comfortable in the whole thing. So, yeah.
Scott, can you elaborate a little further on the process and journey that you kind of took these guys through from a banking standpoint?
Yeah, they came to me and wanted to buy Ernie's, and it all started with actually negotiations, even with the seller at that point in time, helping them through that whole process and utilizing SBA for the Ernie's purchase, utilizing SBA 504 on the Main Street hospitality, Foy Squared, and also doing conventional loans. We've had a kind of a wide variety of different products and services that we've utilized and worked through.
Okay, Scott, you kind of threw out a lot of bank terms there with like the
a lot of bank terms we never knew what
the
they were.
The SBA, the 504. So that's kind of what I want to just talk about. Like you guys, you don't go to Scott and be like, hey, I want a 504 loan.
No,
you're just like, here's what we're trying to do, and then you kind of figure that out.
I think that's an important part of having a banker that you trust, having somebody that community banker that is involved in the community, that they're going to send us down the right path. So we have a lot of trust in Scott and NBC that we're going to be pushing in the right direction. So
yep.
So Chris, how's the business relationship going as it stands today?
With my brother or with Scott?
Yeah, which one are talking about?
Anybody. No, great. A lot of people ask that question. How can you work with your brother for the last 12 years?
Right.
And how that process goes. It's been great, honestly. Obviously, you have some discussions that you might have to work through, but we've never had anything that has kind of got in the way of our business. So, and working with Scott, if that was part of the question, it's phenomenal. I get I see him here, I see him on the golf course maybe a little bit, and have his cell phone number and can contact him at any point. So the whole relationship has been great.
And we've gotten closer with Scott through the years too. It's not just the relationship brought us to Scott. The relationship has gotten stronger, because of all that we've been through in 12 plus years, and what's going to happen in the future too. I think we've become stronger, as a partner in our businesses. Really, is how we look at it.
Yeah.
And as far as Chris, we've gotten closer.
It's almost kind of like a team approach,
Yeah.
where they'll bounce things off me, see what I think on when they're talking about a new venture or a new deal. Then we talk about what the right steps are and where we go from there, if it's feasible or not,
Mike.
Yes.
How would you describe Scott in one word?
Oh, man. That's a good question. There's so many words I want to say.
Be careful.
Professional.
Okay.
Very professional. We're friends outside of our, conversations about business, but when it comes time for the business aspect, he is always professional.
Yeah.
He knows what to say, who to go to, and that's why our relationship is so strong, is because he's there for us, and he's professional. I think that's the best way to describe Scott.
Thank you, sir.
When you have to be, right?
I'm sitting closer to him, so I have to say something even nicer.
No, I think I beat you right there.
Kind of just a couple more questions. Just like words of wisdom or guidance that you would have to somebody who was in your guys' spot 12 years ago, and they're looking for financing or they're looking to make a move. Like, what would you tell them?
You want me, sir?
Find a bank and a banker that you can trust.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you don't want to go through the process blind and not feeling comfortable around the person that's helping you through the process.
We keep hearing these really loud noises.
Yeah, how do you describe that noise?
I don't know. It goes brrrr. That's kind of how it sounds.
Yeah,
You're making those noises.
That's
It's
you.
me.
That's you the whole time.
Scott, what is going on in the background?
Well,
in Brainerd this morning.
so it's BIR, Brainerd International Raceway, the drag race nationals, Lucas Oil Nationals. That was this weekend. However, it's Monday morning, so we're a little confused as to the finals were yesterday, so we don't know why they're still going.
Yeah.
And we're like over 5 miles away
6
from
miles
it, and
away.
that's how loud it is. So that just puts into perspective how loud it is
Right.
when you're actually at the races.
We've
so.
tried to cut a few out for everybody, but we're throwing in the towel a little bit. So if you hear,
We don't know when it's going to end. I mean, it could go on forever.
We just keep going.
it could go on forever. So we're just gonna keep rolling with it if you hear something in the background. So back to words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Find a banker that you can trust.
Yes. Yeah. Because there's times during the process where the initial plan may not be the right plan in the end.
We've had that.
And we've had to adjust on the fly.
Many
where
times.
We think one loan could be the right loan, but then Scott's like, no, that's not going to work.
Let's
or
go.
something happens,
Let's
there's
do
a
something
snag.
different.
Change something up.
And so I mean, just having someone that can adjust on the fly and is there for you and knows the processes and knows the loans is key for sure.
And just that's a lot of trust that you put in to someone
is.
too. This is your livelihood. This is a lot of money. So
Yeah.
just to have somebody who you really know has your back is super cool. And I will say too, even just hanging out with the guys before we started filming this, they're all just friends. It's a cool relationship. Scott, what about any words from you from businesses who are looking for help or transitions or something like that?
I would say, like we've said before, it comes down to relationships, trust, open communication. Like we just explained, everything's kind of ever changing. It's not like a one size fits all. So creativity on getting the deal done and, always being there, like a text message on a Saturday, responding in a timely fashion. That's key. That's key in getting a deal done.
Yeah.
So,
Scott, you've mentioned the word creative a couple of times. People don't often say that word when they're talking about banking. They don't normally go hand in hand. So what does that mean?
it means trying to figure out the right solutions for the right customer or the right prospect, and whether it be they'd like to put a little bit less money down, utilizing a gap lender.
What's that mean?
Somebody like economic developer would come in and put down some money into a project, whether or not the seller would carry debt on the process. There's a lot of different ways to be creative, as far as if you go conventional, if you go, SBA has a couple different products that would be helping new businesses start up. So it's just listening to the client or the prospect and understanding what it is that is important to them and going from there.
Yeah. I think another big thing too, and I can just like see this probably in your guys' relationship, like we'll pause for a second.
How many burnouts?
I know.
There's no timer.
It's every 1 minute.
Oh my gosh.
We're never doing another Making Sense on site again. This is
At least not on BIR.
Not on
It
Right,
wouldn't have made
weekend, yeah.
sense today. I think there's that.
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Like just asking questions. Like I feel like if you guys had like a super like maybe simple question, like you would just text Scott and like
Yeah,
and
correct.
there's no dumb questions. Like
Right.
if you
No,
don't
we've
know
asked all of them.
Yeah.
There's none left. We've asked every one of them.
Anything else you guys any other words of wisdom you want to add or anything else?
You know, I feel like a banker should be kind of your first call versus an attorney, an accountant, or a realtor even for that matter. Because if you have that trusted relationship with them, like we'll have some brainstorming sessions on like, hey, if they think of this, I'll just fly up to Main Street. We'll meet in their office or whatever, and we'll talk it through and say, okay, hey, I need this, this, and this. If this is something you're thinking about doing,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You know, bankers, as in yourself, you know a little bit about the real estate aspect of it
Yeah.
and some of the law stuff. I mean, you can't give us the actual advice of a lawyer,
Right.
but at least the process goes more smooth when you talk to a banker that's has the wisdom to guide you into the next step.
Yeah.
For sure.
And to see if it makes sense. I mean, we're going through that
Right.
process right now. We have
Yeah.
another restaurant that we're working on, and our first call was to Scott to
Yep.
run it by him because, I mean, his insightfulness is going to help us. Should we pursue this? Is this something that is going to make sense? Is it going to make money?
Right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
And to start looking at that process and then get all that information to him and go from there.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah. How do you guys see, like, what's your next 10, 15 years look like?
I can take the first part.
Oh, man, that's the easy one.
Whoa. That's why. We're actually in the process of building and planning a new restaurant,
Okay.
which is going to be in the downtown Nisswa area as well as Main Street, which we have currently. It's going to be a street taco and tequila restaurant.
Do people, like, know this, or is this, like,
Well,
breaking
it's-
news?
It's
It's
starting
out
to
there.
sneak out there.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But I mean, it's official. We're going forward
Okay.
with it, and we're excited. It's going to be a big patio, street taco flair, a little bit of a unique, quirky decor. It's going to be fun and something different for the area for sure.
So are you like, oh, man, we have 3 restaurants. Like, this isn't enough. We need another one. Like, what?
We're a glutton for
What?
punishment.
I guess so.
is one of it.
I guess so. It just kind of happened. We were notified that they wanted to sell, and we were the guys that said yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
A little bit of
we're
FOMO,
excited.
right? We don't want to
We
miss
don't
out
wanna
on
miss out.
something. So
Yeah.
we just,
and we've
we
had
see
this
opportunity,
concept.
obviously.
We've
Yeah.
had this concept in our brains for a while.
Okay.
We just had to find the right spot, the right time to do it, and now is as good a time as ever.
Well, and it kind of adds to the overall Nisswa feel, too, where they're not competing with
Correct.
anybody
Yeah.
there.
Right, exactly.
On that, because there's already pizza, there's the
There's
Main
already a
Street.
breakfast place.
Yeah.
There's other places. So we
So
felt
this will
tacos,
complement all
tequila
that.
was the right choice.
Yeah.
So
Do you think you'll be done with 4 at 4?
Is this where I jump in, the
we
10
better
to
be.
15-year
Yeah,
plan?
you can
Yeah,
take it now.
like, yeah. So,
That we
like,
haven't
what are you
written
going to do with this? Yeah, you guys got a lot of stuff.
Well, we felt to go. We're close to the point of getting all the restaurants to where they should be, right?
Okay.
Like this
Yep.
place, we've remodeled this twice now. We have
Yep.
brand new docks, new patios, new decks. So hopefully we don't have to, redo this again and remodel it. So this place is, Ernie's is kind of where we want it. Main Street's a new building, only 5 years old.
Right.
New restaurant's going to be new. So I think hopefully not a whole lot more, adding on or anything to the current restaurants. So hopefully this 4th one is our last one. And now it's just operate them for the next 10 to 15 years and
Right.
go from there.
See what happens.
Retire on a beach and probably
I
have
don't-
another restaurant down somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
so-
think you guys
That's right.
just like. I feel like when things get set, that you're not just gonna like idle along. Like
Right.
It'll be
there'll
a much smaller restaurant.
That's when
Yeah.
you call Scott and say, Scott, we got this idea, and then
Yeah.
hopefully he shuts it down.
Yeah.
The advice kicks
Remember
in.
this guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, we've been through that 2 other times with
I know,
Scott. We're like,
I
we
know.
got this idea. We're never going to do another one, I
Yeah.
swear. 2 months later, we call him.
And Scott, so you started working at NBC before we actually had a location here, but I think we can say now that we have applied for a branch.
Correct.
So we've applied with the OCC to have a branch, and that we do have plans of opening that early 2024. Anything you want to add on that?
Just looking forward to it along with these guys.
Yeah.
We're hiring, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I could say that.
You can apply on our website. I just think one more thing I want to point out too, that it's really cool that like we don't even have a location here, and these guys are in the hospitality industry with 3 restaurants, and we're willing to follow you.
I was just gonna say that.
Like
I
that's
mean,
big.
That's loyalty to.
That's
your
loyalty.
banker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I think that's all we really have. So thank you to the audience for bearing with us with the drag racing or
Yeah.
whatever's going on. And we got I think we have a gas truck pulling up now. So, I mean, all in the day of, Chris and Mike.
Ernie's on Gull. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and there
there
it
it
is.
is. Right on
There's
cue.
the send-off.
Right
Yeah.
on cue,
There's the
kind of
send-off.
sending us off. So thank you guys for
Thank you.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
sitting
it.
down
Yeah.
with me,
Thank you.
and we'll see everybody next time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.